It's time for a guest discussion on our wellness segment, and for that we have Essien Olubukola on the couch. She is a highly innovative events professional with over 13 years of experience in the event space. She's a trained healthcare assistant as well as a certified first responder. I believe that's healthcare assistant. And she's also a leading member of group of dynamic event professionals of the well-watered garden community. She is the brain behind Polished Stone Emergency Services, providing top-notch health services and safety at social as well as corporate functions. It is a pleasure indeed to have Bukola Essien in the studio with us this morning. How are you doing?
I'm fine.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
So when we talk about first responders at events, this never used to be the case. For example, because everybody thinks when people talk about emergency services, it's just about the health part.
Okay.
For example, before now, if you had a wardrobe malfunction, you go outside an event and start going from street to street.
That's if you get one.
That's if you get one. Or you are stuck, or you look for safety pins, then tack and tack and tack, and then you look all over the place. Tell me, what exactly informed your decision to come up with this?
Oh, okay. Actually, over my 13 years of experience in the event space, I've come to realize that different emergencies pop up.
Yeah.
And you know, emergencies are things that you don't really
Prepare for.
Yeah. So it pops up. You even have, I've had instances where people say, oh, my daughter just started her period. Do you have sanitary towel? And that's an emergency. So I've had such experiences. I've even had an experience where someone's shoes went off. Wow. And then she had to be limping throughout the event. She wasn't really comfortable. So I saw those needs and I felt, okay, this can actually, you know, be taken care of by bringing the emergency services to them, because sometimes they don't even get to find a solution because of where they are at that time. So we're bringing the solutions to them.
Can you give me a rundown of some of these emergency services that are offered? I know there are some events you go to that when there are over 500 people, you already see an ambulance outside. Is that a requirement now? It's just something events professionals now provide?
Oh, well, ambulances outside, I think COVID actually stirred up that aspect of ambulance, being at event. It became a requirement because way back then, if you're found that maybe your temperature is running high, and then they begin to think maybe you might have COVID because it was, you know, a symptom.
Yeah.
So the ambulance was on standby. But after COVID, you know, went by, it still had to stay because we now have instances where people come in looking healthy, but they're not really healthy and, you know, falling down and slumming. So it's really a requirement. When you have a guest of about 500, I mean, it's really you're supposed to have a first responder, health-wise.
Okay, so besides the ambulance, what other services are being offered? Okay,
in emergencies, we have services like first aid, you know, we across-the-counter medications. We also have wardrobe malfunction, taking care of, you know, of shoes, and then we also have the sanitary, you know, needs. We also have stationary needs for corporate events, you know, like a pen,
even a cake knife,
you know,
in quotes, as little as that may seem. The caterer can come and realize she didn't bring.
I've not really thought of cake knives.
Now you know, because I've been to events that you start looking for knives everywhere, no jokes, and then you now have to use one of the knives that are supposed to be for the guest on the table, and then the person gets to their seat and they can't find a knife to use and stuff.
True.
Yeah,
I think we have to start looking at that too.
Yeah, it's one of those things. But what has it been like through the years? How many clients, let me put it that way, have they been responding to this?
It's actually a new innovation and typical of humans. They don't want to embrace it immediately. Like you tell someone you need emergency services, the first thing that comes to your mind is
expense. Oh,
No,
else.
health.
Uh-huh.
Nobody will die. You know, oh, God forbid it won't happen at my event. Everybody will be all right. So they aren't really, you know, embracing it because, you know, we have this mindset of, I will pray and everything will be okay. You know, but emergencies don't tell you we're going to be there. Emergencies don't tell you will happen today. So it is always right to just have it on standby. So people are just warming up to it. They're actually warming up to it.
But would you say perhaps the extra cost is probably what the events the client is avoiding? Is there an extra cost attached, or is it still part of the whole events planning package?
Oh, well, for me, we actually have different packages. You might not take me as your planner, but you want that event emergency. So, you know, some other people, the client wants it. They want my guests to be okay, and then they ask you to bring it. You understand? So, it's actually a package that comes with full planning. You know, but if you don't want it, you know, you can have it in bits. You know, even phone charging, we do that. It's part of emergencies.
Phone charging?
Yes. We have a point where we charge your phones. You understand?
Well, so far so good. What would you say are the challenges that you've encountered in the course of providing these services?
Okay. The people have not, like I said, they're just warming up to it. And like I also said earlier, people like, you know, this God forbid it can happen kind of mindset. And aside that, we have people come in and they are like, okay, is this what you do? Well, but the real thing is that the challenges we've had so far is very small compared to how people go, you know, like, wow, we've not seen this before. You know, so I think one of the things we need to is just orientation, creating more awareness about it, you know, and the need for it.
As the costs being part of the challenge, because I know that for you to be able to put all of this together,
it's not
you have
expensive
to,
to be able
you have to pay the people working.
Yes,
there's you who puts it together, but then of course there's the cobbler, there's the tailor, who is trying to ensure that people with
wardrobe
zippers off, they get fixed, or people with their heels off, they get fixed. You know, how many people on average do you bring to an event?
Okay, at least I have about 6 people on
6?
ground.
Okay.
Depending on the service you're asking for. Some might tell me, don't come with everything. Just come with phone charging and the first aid.
Okay.
Some people might tell me, okay, there's a kiddies party, just come with first aid.
Okay.
So it depends on the package and what they're requesting for. So if it's a full package, a minimum of 6 people. And if it's a full package, we come with ambulance and first responders, at least 3 first responders in the ambulance, aside those other people in the hall of the event. Do you understand?
If I ask you to come to my event and then I pay you for these services, let's say I ask for the full one, which involves your 6 hands, and at the end of the event, none of my guests require any of these services.
I get this a
What
lot.
happens?
I get this
Exactly.
question a lot
What
from my
happens?
clients.
Even from clients, yeah.
I get this
can
a lot
imagine.
from clients. So the truth is that it is the time spent at your event, you know, and the expertise that you're paying for. So if I come to your event and, oh, thank God, no casualties, no emergencies, you're paying for my time.
That's true.
So you're paying for my time.
You pay for my being there.
My being there.
Providing assurance for your guests.
So that's what you're really paying for, my time. You understand? So some might say, okay, so once you do a refund, it's already in the contract and agreement. If you signed it, then that's it.
So there's a contract and agreement, which brings me to something. Oftentimes for business people, the contract and agreement comes after you've experienced certain things. Was this in place from the start, or it was implemented after maybe a client breached a contract or a client became really fussy? How did you bring this about?
I've been in the event space for about 13 years. So, of course, experience from events had made me know that everything you're doing, dealing with clients, you have to have a contract and agreement. So for the event emergencies, it's actually from the start. I give you your contract and I give you agreement. You see it. If you're okay with it, you sign. So I didn't have to wait for an experience.
Now this actually brings me to the case of telemedicine,
okay,
which has also been available in the industry for quite a while now.
Okay.
But when we talk about first responders, for example, how do you link it?
Okay, when you talk of telemedicine now, when you talk of first responders, we have different categories of first responders: the police, the firefighters, and then the emergency medical technicians.
Yeah.
Are first responders. Now, when you talk of telemedicine, then you're streamlining it to the EMTs. Okay. Now, telemedicine is actually e-health, electronic health, telehealth. Okay, that can be accessed through telecommunications, your laptop, your smartphones, and bringing telemedicine into first responders makes it a lot easier for those that can access medicals or when it's going beyond just first responder. Okay, so and that's one thing I'm actually looking at. Bringing telemedicine into first aid, whereby you have someone in the ambulance and then you need to just put a call through to a doctor for further guidance, because there's a little to what a first aider can do.
Yes.
So
and that's also cost again.
That's also
because you have to pay for the doctor's time, telling the doctor to stand by.
Yes.
The person also has to be paid. So
yes. So it's necessary if it's going to save life. It's necessary. The least that should come to mind is the money. But if a life can be saved, then the money is nothing to be compared to the life.
Which is fair enough, because we make a lot of plans for events. Why not make plans to prevent certain things, or at least be able to curtail the situation if it arises?
Yeah.
Bukola Essien, thank you so much. It's been quite an interesting conversation. You're shedding light to something many people take for granted, and I appreciate the work you're doing in the industry regarding this. Thank you so much. All right, at this point, we'll take a break. You're watching Wake Up Nigeria. Stay with us. We'll be right back.